Again, I'm disappointed I missed it. Look forward to the next one. Thanks for all you've done and for participating and helping this city address climate action. So important for all of us. Thank you.
It was a very robust program. The speakers from Stop Waste and the lab were both phenomenal, and the no waste lunch. I thought that was really, really cool because it's vegetarian. Because when you see how much energy it takes to create meat, it really was a real eye opener. So thank you for all the attention to detail that all of you took. So that was a great program. Thank you. With that, we have the proclamation declaring October 1st through 7th as Water Professionals Appreciation Week. And I'm presenting this to Water Resources Division Manager Anthony Smith. So we have, whereas the California Legislature has officially designated the first week of October as California Water Professionals Appreciation Week, and whereas Water Professionals Week is intended to highlight the important role of water industry professionals and public agencies in ensuring safe and reliable drinking water, wastewater, and recycled water service to California, and whereas thanks to technological advances by highly skilled and trained water professionals and all the dedication of thousands of industry professionals in the state, California drinking water and treated wastewater meets some of the most stringent water quality standards in the nation. And whereas water is the lifeblood of California, and without safe and reliable water, no community and no sector of the economy, from technology to manufacturing to agriculture, can thrive or expand. And whereas dedicated water professionals at the City of Livermore Water Resources Division work 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year to operate, maintain, and upgrade our systems and improve the safety and resiliency of local water supplies for our community. Now, therefore, the City Council of the City of Livermore proclaims October 1st through 7th, 2023, Water Professionals Appreciation Week, and extends its sincere gratitude and appreciation to the water and wastewater professionals who work 24/7 to provide excellent service to our community each and every day. And I'd also like to say that we have an award-winning water reclamation plant, and you don't very often hear those in the same sentence, award-winning and water reclamation plant. But when I started out in this business many years ago, it was called a wastewater treatment plant. You just treated it and it went out to the bay and then out to the ocean. But now they're water reclamation plants. We reuse that water. And our water treatment plant, you've seen those murals on the side of the plant. It has been recognized with the Farallones Marine Sanctuary Award for Environmental Stewardship, because those murals recognize that what we do at that plant protects the animals that are depicted in those murals on the digesters and the solids handling building. So 24 hours a day, the folks at that plant protect our environment and protect public health and safety. And all the doctors, all the hospitals in the world have not saved as many people as sanitary drinking water systems and wastewater treatment systems. Chlorine is one of the biggest advancements that were ever made in public health. And I just want to acknowledge the great work that's being done at our water reclamation plant and for all the water quality professionals. I spent my career in water quality, and I have a deep passion for it. And I'd like to present this to you as well.
Well, good evening, Mayor and council members. My name is Anthony Smith, your Water Resources Division Manager. On behalf of the over 50 staff at the Water Resources Division, I just want to say thank you for recognizing us and the work we do. I'm honored to work alongside a lot of staff that, they give their whole heart to their job. They work 24 hours a day. We have staff on standby every single day of the year, and we're very proud of the services we provide to the community. So thank you very much.
Okay, next up, we have Poet Laureates Annual Update. And this is going to be presented by the City of Livermore Poet Laureate Peggy Schimmelman.
Thank you. I've had the honor of being Livermore's Poet Laureate since July of 2022, and it has been a challenging but rewarding, fun-filled year. I want to thank the council again for honoring me with this position. And I especially want to thank Brandon and his people for the consistent high level of support that I have. That support has allowed me to continue some programs that were started by previous poet laureates, as well as some new ones of my own. Verse on the Vine is a reimagining of the old Ravenswood poetry series. For years, the first poet laureate, Connie Post, started it. We held it out at the historic Ravenwood building. We lost access to that building, and then COVID happened. So we went a few years without it, but now it's called Verse on the Vine in honor of our wine culture. And so far this year, we've had 3. Thanks to the Livermore Library people, Paul Sevilla and his staff, and also to Spark Theater. We've had 3 events. I just want to mention this one that's coming up October 1st, this Sunday. It's in honor of Hispanic Heritage Month. We have Rafael Gonzalez and Naomi Quinones, who are poet activists, who are renowned not only in the Hispanic community, but in the poetry community at large. So that will be at the Civic Center Library, and I hope you can join us for that. Another program that I continued was the Teen Poet of the Trimester. This used to be Teen Poet of the Month, but on the advice and requests of some teachers who thought the students could use a little more time to work on their craft before submitting, we changed it to a trimester event. Our 3 winners last year were Emily Butler of Livermore High, Jane Cow of Del Val, and Michaela Marinko of Livermore High. Winners receive a certificate signed by the city. And this year, thanks to Ruby Lopez at Livermore Downtown, who promoted this for us, she contacted Downtown Merchants, and we were able to get a $25 gift certificate from a merchant for each trimester. The Livermore Ale House, or First Street Ale House, I'm sorry, Mozart, Earhart and Me, and Pino's Palette, and of course, the certificate signed by Mayor Marchand. This is a new event. I started this and I'm having a lot of fun with this. It seems to be, wait, this is, oh, I'm sorry. Let me back up. I did not start this. This is Poetry in a Test Tube. This is our annual springtime contest that has been going on for several years. I think this was the 7th year. And it celebrates the convergence of poetry and science. We have winners in 4 categories with cash prizes. The categories are adult, high school, middle school, and K through 5. And it culminates in an awards ceremony with a reading at the Civic Center Library, with the opportunity, with the certificates presented by the mayor, and also came with a handshake from the mayor. And the first place winners also were invited and did read their poems at the Livermorium anniversary ceremony this year, which they really enjoyed, and I'm hoping we can do that next year. This is the one I started, Pop-Up Poetry. We've had 3 so far. The first at the lot on First Street, the second at Livermorium Plaza, and the third at the Quest Science Center. We have another one planned for November at the library. This event is fun because it's not just for poets, it's for anybody in the community who can come. They can bring a poem that they wrote, or they can bring a poem by Shel Silverstein or Dr. Seuss or Emily Dickinson, anybody they want, and read it for the crowd. And it's been a lot of fun. Other activity, in October of 2022, there was a statue dedicated in Springtown. So I wrote and read a poem for that. I wrote and read a poem for the Civic Appreciation Ceremony in November. I'm working on one for the next one coming up. I had the honor of participating in a reading and a panel with the California Poet Laureate Lee Herrick at the Las Positas Lit Fair this year. we talked about poetry of place, which gave me an opportunity to read my poems about Livermore, as well as the poems that I wrote about where I grew up and other places I've lived. The Whistle Stop Writers Open Mic was started by previous poet laureate Cynthia Patton, and I am now co-hosting that with her and publicizing it for her. It's a monthly event that takes place every third Thursday at Swirl Blacksmith Square. Anybody's invited to read a poem, read poems or short prose. Upcoming, I'm exploring a poetry workshop series that's going to talk about various styles of poetry, and that's starting in January. The first one is scheduled for the Bankhead Theater to explore Asian poetry to coincide with their Asian poetry art exhibit in January. And then, of course, Art Walk is coming up October 10th. I'll be reading a few poems along with Cynthia Patton and Cher Waller, two past poets laureate at Livermore Plaza at 2:45. And that concludes my presentation. Any questions?
Actually, Art Walk is Saturday, the 14th,
What did I have on there?
yet on the 10th, October 10th. And it's it is
Sorry about
Saturday-
that.
Art Walk is Saturday,
I know
October
it's,
14th,
I know it's Saturday. Yes. Okay.
but it had the 10th, but it is October 14th.
Thank you. Thank you for that.
Certainly. And I'll tell you, the poetry in a test tube has just been delightful. And the level of sophistication of those poems is really remarkable.
It is.
This year we had one young poet from elementary school write about Schrodinger's cat.
Right.
That's something that a lot of adults can't get their head around. But just the remarkable poetry that's coming out of our youth is it's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
So
it
thank
really
you
is
for
fun.
thank you for fostering that and for moving that ahead. So thank you.
Mhm. Thank you.
Any other questions? Okay, great, great job.
Thank you.
Okay, next 3.4, we have an iGate update presented by the Executive Director, Yolanda Finschenko. iGate, now Daybreak Labs. Some of us have been there from the beginning, right? Councilmember Carling?
Yes,
Yeah, and Brandon as well.
thank you. It's good.
No
It's good.
pressure.
It's good to have so many founders in the house. Um, So thank you very much, Mayor Marchand, Councilmember Barrientos, and Councilmember Carling for the opportunity to speak with you today. Thank you also for the support from the city, especially Brandon and Stephen, Mr. Spence, sorry, and City Manager Marisheva. Thank you so much. So I'd like to talk to you about our progress in the last year, the impact that we've had through iGate Innovation Hub and our two initiatives, Daybreak Lab and Startup Tri-Valley. So for those of you who don't know, iGate is a nonprofit. It was founded in 2010 by several people who are in this room and others. A nonprofit organization dedicated to building a thriving startup community in the Tri-Valley. And our funders include, of course, the City of Livermore, the City of Dublin, Pleasanton, the Town of Danville, Sandia National Labs, and Lawrence Livermore National Labs. And most recently, we received funding from the Alameda County Board of Supervisors. So our thesis behind funding, supporting science-based startups is that to create a vibrant economy, you need to have constantly created jobs. The best job creators, according to a Kauffman Foundation study, are companies about the age of 6 years or younger. So we need a constant pipeline of companies forming. The best quality jobs we determined are jobs created by science-based startups because of the skill level required across the board, whether it's the scientists, engineers, business people supporting fields and the rest of the ecosystem. So how do we do this? We do this through two initiatives. One is Daybreak Labs. Daybreak Labs is a physical space. It is here in Livermore, in the eastern part of Livermore, just off of South Front Road. We provide facilities, access to funding and capital, and expertise, so science-based startups can de-risk their technology so that they are able to attract funding and eventually launch outside the space. We serve entirely early stage startups. Startup Tri-Valley is primarily a branding and connectivity initiative that is creating awareness and recognition of the startup activity within the Tri-Valley, as well as branding it outside the Tri-Valley. It's also creating connections so that we can create the robust ecosystem that founders need in order to succeed. We do this by creating and sharing content and hosting events. Some of the events that we've hosted in the past year include our inaugural back to in-person event after COVID in October of 2022. So we had the Tri-Valley Life Sciences Summit hosted by Viva Systems, presented by Tri-Valley Ventures and Mirador Capital Partners. We had over 160 people attending this event. We then proceeded in May to host with some new partners, Vestria Ventures and Radiant Oximetry, the unseen opportunity in women's health to promote both the opportunities in funding and in innovating in the women's health space. Most recently in August, we hosted for the first time a Tri-Valley Artificial Intelligence Summit focused on generative AI with the City of Dublin, Resolve AI, hosted by Patelco Credit Union here in the Tri-Valley. And finally, you can look forward to an event, October 18th, the 2023 Tri-Valley Life Sciences Summit, hosted by Unchained Labs, presented by Mirador Capital Partners, Tri-Valley Ventures, and now Metcon. Through these events with our anticipated, we saw, like I said, over 160 people attending our 2022 summit, over 100 people registered for our Unseen Opportunity in Women's Health, over 100 people attending our AI summit, and we anticipate as many as 200 people attending our next summit in October. With that, we'll have reached well over 500 people within the Tri-Valley and outside the Tri-Valley. We also have a podcast that I encourage you all to follow. It is the Startup Tri-Valley podcast. We interview funders and founders in the Tri-Valley, as well as other ecosystem members. We've had 3 seasons, 16 episodes, and you can see some of our highlights from the city of Livermore. We currently have over 1,450 downloads and counting. And in terms of all of this activity has led to a great deal of press coverage. Our goal was to capture the attention of the press within our region, specifically within the Tri-Valley, and as well as the greater Bay Area. What we've seen is in the past year, 12 earned media pieces based on the activities that we've had here in the Tri-Valley. And 3 of them are highlighted here from 2 of our events and through the Livermore Vine. And then a very recent piece this summer from The Independent, featuring Daybreak Labs and the opportunity it provides science-based startups. We've also had at Daybreak Labs a number of events. These events are designed to create connectivity and support our founders, as well as to attract new founders to our facility. Since January, we've had 16 events, including grant writing workshops, and investor office hours, partner lunch and learns, vendor events, and we have just closed applications for our Kickstart program that we do in partnership with Kilpatrick Townsend to provide early stage startups legal business formation, legal aid, IP strategy and creation legal aid, and also the structuring of equity. Who are Daybreak Labs companies? They encompass a wide variety of industries within hard tech and biotech. Encelin is essentially a cell therapeutic drug delivery company. Rushnu is a carbon capture company. Aegis Bio, our newest addition, is a therapeutics company. 2020 Therapeutics is a med tech company. Fertility / Phoenix Biosystems is a diagnostics company, and Lab Simply is also a diagnostics company. Among these 6 companies, they have raised in the last year over $40 million, posted 7 positions, 2 companies have now graduated to private space in Livermore and Pleasanton since we opened in October of 2022. I think the best expression of the impact of Daybreak Labs comes not from me, but from the words of one of our Daybreak Labs alumnus. Daybreak has been a great resource. As we expand our efforts, we will be graduating from Daybreak and move to our own facility, which will also be in Livermore. Thanks for the great experience here. Daybreak Lab provided the critical infrastructure for us to get off the ground running to invent, develop, and successfully test various modules for our instrument. Besides growing their companies, what we found is Daybreak Labs companies are very willing also to give back to future founders. Through the Bay Area Leads Teacher Externship Program, we were able to host our Granada High School ROP teacher, Ms. Kathy Cabrera, for a week this summer. Not only was she hosted by Daybreak Labs, the organization, but Daybreak Labs companies Rush New, Lab Simply, Phoenix Biosystems, Fertility, as well as the Daybreak Labs alumnus and next door neighbor Buzzkill Labs and our neighboring company S2 Genomics all spent time to give Ms. Cabrera a very informative and interesting week. As a result of this, we are now going to be hosting Ms. Cabrera's ROP class in October for a field trip. With that, I thank you for your attention and I am happy to answer any questions.
Thank you. Questions? Councilmember Carling.
I don't have any particular questions. I just want to congratulate you and the team for all, excuse me, for all the work and advances since way back in 2010. I don't think Brandon and I and the rest of the folks ever imagined what it would turn out to be, but it's been, I think, far better than I would have anticipated. So I think congratulations to you and to all the others. Did you mention where the Life Sciences Summit is?
This year's Life Science Summit is at Unchained Labs' new location on Willow Road. They just moved into a new building this September.
So will you be advertising that someplace for
Yes,
people to attend?
we will. It
Okay.
is posted on the Startup Tri-Valley website. If you go to events, it
Okay.
is on our LinkedIn. Follow us, Startup Tri-Valley on LinkedIn. And we are also going to be issuing a press release this week.
Great. Thanks again very much.
And we'll give you a direct invite as well.
Yes.
Even better. Thank you.
Also that.
Thank you.
Councilmember Barrientos.
I appreciate your efforts and it sounds like a great program. And I did go to the Daybreak one and I found it interesting. I went to the corner out to one of the new, I call him kid, that was working in a corner on some, I think he was running on a hydrogen project that he's trying to develop. But I appreciate what your efforts and that was great.
Thank you very much.
I just want to highlight that this started in 2010, which for those that remember was the bottom of the recession. We looked around to see what assets that we had, and the cities of the Tri-Valley came together. We recognized the tremendous asset that we had in the laboratories, both Sandia and Lawrence Livermore, and we invested in this thing that really none of us really understood where this was going to go. And we made a couple of different starts and a couple of different attempts. And it has really blossomed into something quite remarkable that is generating jobs, creating new businesses. Our tagline back in those days was taking great ideas and turning them into great businesses. And I think that's still true today. And the fact that we've brought in $40 million in venture capital into these companies to fledge and to continue to allow them to grow here in the Tri-Valley and creating jobs and businesses. I think this is an unqualified success, and it points to the people that have been working so hard. Brandon, thank you very much. Councilmember Carling, you were one of the visionaries on that, and the laboratories and people that realize that if we're going to accomplish something, we need to do this ourselves. And we grew this into this remarkable organization. And congratulations! And you're at the helm. I'm looking forward to great things.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Okay, now we move on to the open forum. Madam City Clerk, will you tell people how they can participate?
Thank you, Mayor. The City Council agenda provides opportunities for the public to participate in the meeting by addressing the City Council in the following ways. For non-agendized items, the public has the opportunity during open forum to address the City Council on any item of interest that is within the City Council's subject matter jurisdiction. For agendized items, the public can address the City Council on each item of business it considers when the mayor opens public comment and should be focused on that particular item. Please note, a speaker is not required to answer any questions from the City Council, and the City Council is not required to answer any questions from the public. However, the mayor has the discretion to ask staff to address a speaker's comments when a council member believes it is relevant to a particular business item. When participating in tonight's meeting, one comment may be given per person per item. Members of the public can participate in person or remotely as noticed on the agenda. To provide comment in person, please fill out and turn in a speaker card found at the entrance of the City Council chambers. Speakers will be announced in the order received. We will hear from members of the public who are in person first, followed by those wishing to speak on Zoom. To provide comment by Zoom, please use the raise hand feature or *9 if calling in when the item begins. Please do not wait until the public comment period opens for each item to raise your hand. Instead, raise your hand at the beginning of each item. Once public comment opens, each participant's name will be announced and their 3 minutes will begin once at the lectern or upon being muted. This evening, we will not have the technical ability to share the timer over Zoom. So for Zoom speakers, I will let you know when it's time to conclude your comments. Thank you, Mayor.
With that, I'm going to open up the open forum. Read the names, please. Do you have
The
any speakers?
Yes, sir. The first speaker is David McWiggin, followed by Jennifer Lininger, followed by Jason Gumatau.
Why? A small world, small word with big implications. Consider one of the questions I get asked a lot. Why would the police manipulate the skid marks? And I'll admit, it's a good question. I can tell you that the arresting officer was just embarrassed in front of his superior, and since he didn't administer the breathalyzer when he took my statement, had a large hole in his timeline that he needed to commit perjury to cover up, so he could bring charges. But once the decision is made to commit perjury, well, in for a penny, in for a dollar. Skid marks that extended into the crosswalk are easier for the DA to talk to, even than the ones that stop outside, even though the bumper extends into the crosswalk. They didn't need to manipulate the skid marks to bring charges, but they did. And yes, Johnny, this is why I'm still here. Now, for all of you who want a better answer, I'll give you a couple more whys to consider. Why are there so many videos of police officers beating their subjects to death? Why did Officer Black use his position as a Livermore police officer to sexually exploit a teenage girl? Sometimes police inflict harm on people just because they enjoy it. Now, here's the picture you like so much. It shows that there was skid mark evidence at the scene that somehow disappeared before the officer took the evidence photos. Now, I'll point out something to the people of Livermore, Johnny. You went out of your way to point out that the photo was from 2012. What you didn't do, Johnny, was refute the facts. No, you apparently believe that since you've been getting away with it for so long, you should be able to get away with it forever. I told you, Johnny, when you lie against enough people, eventually someone's going to come along and say, no, Johnny, not this time. You're a lying, corrupt criminal, Johnny, and you will be found out.
The next speaker is Jennifer Lininger, followed by Jason Gumatau and Donna Cabane on Zoom.
Hello and good evening, Mayor Marchand, honored City Council members and attendees. My name is Jennifer Lininger and I'm the Veterans Outreach Specialist at Las Positas College. I'm currently at the end of a cold, so I apologize. My voice is horrible.
Thank you for your consideration.
Oh,
Thank you.
absolutely.
Sincerely appreciated.
I'm here to represent our amazing and distinguished Las Positas College, who has over 500 men and women who have self-identified on their application as being military affiliated. So what does that mean? That means they're active, reservists, veterans, spouses, or dependent of our armed forces, many of whom major in business, pre-nursing, fire science, engineering technology, welding, music, and some with the goal of transferring. The challenge of adjusting to civilian life, school, and family can be very overwhelming. Often some return from deployment with physical challenges and hidden mental health issues. At Las Positas College, our goal is to provide resources to our student veterans to help them battle their internal challenges and prevent veteran suicide. On a national level, 22 veterans a day lose their battle to suicide. Although we recognize that recent numbers have gone down, thank goodness, we do want to still use 22 as our benchmark. We want to do our part in raising awareness. Regardless of the number, it's still too many. On behalf of the Veterans First program, I would like to invite all of you and the city of Livermore to our upcoming 2.2 for 22 challenge event for veterans. We have a virtual option of attending starting on October 1st through October 21st. You'll go online and log into the event and you'll do an activity for the day. It could be as simple as sitting still for 2 minutes, which is harder than you think. I say it's simple, or doing 22 jumping jacks. And so each day you'll go in, log into the activity and do that activity for the day. Or you can come in person on Saturday, October 21st, check-ins at 8:45 a.m. at the LPC track and field. You can walk a few laps with us or complete stations that'll be set up around the track and field by some of our LPC departments and amazing community organizations. You could blow 22 bubbles with our Blue Star moms, or you could sit with our Alliance for Therapy Dogs and pet one of the dogs for 2 minutes. Or you could join our fire science program and drag a dummy 22 feet. There's a bunch of different types of stations for every age group. And so we invite all of you and your families to come join us. It's $22 to join us. Funds raised will go towards mental health programs for our veterans and scholarships at Las Positas College. Sign up today on our 2.2 for 22 Challenge for Veterans website, or come visit us at Las Positas College in Building 1310. We'd love to see you. There are flyers at the check-in table in the back with more information. And again, thank you so much for your time today, and we hope to see you on the 21st.
Thank you very much. Questions? By the way, congratulations being the #1 community college in the state of California, Las Positas. The Veterans First program is an incredible program. Your women veteran program is one that I've also participated in on a number of occasions.
Yes.
But sincerely, the great work that you do is greatly appreciated. So thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you for supporting our veterans. The next speaker is Jason Gomatautow, followed by Donna Cabane on Zoom, followed by John Timothy Ernest on Zoom.
Thank you. Greetings, Mayor Martian and council members. My name is Jason Gomatautow. I'm a member of IBW Local 595, as well as East Bay Residents for Responsible Development. Speaking on behalf of hundreds of Livermore residents that are members of my local, as well as the Sheet Metal Union, plumbers and sprinkler fitter unions. We just wanted to raise some concerns about Heritage Development LLC, who plan to be building under the Livermore Neighborhood Specific Plan. Just to know, so you know what the update is, Heritage is still sort of not been able to commit to a few of the items that the Isabel Neighborhood Plan calls for, namely local hire, apprenticeship training opportunities, and family supporting wages. I'll say they have met with my local as well as the others that are, trying to uphold some standards here. But while it's moving in the right direction, terms have not been set. And we do hope that the meeting that they have this week will continue to be productive. I've earned a living in the electrical construction industry by building fail-safe electrical systems. And I, as well as East Bay Residents for Responsible Development, we believe that Livermore residents deserve to be included in building Livermore's future. And with that, construction worker families in Livermore need your continued support. Thank you.
The next speaker is on Zoom. It's Donna Cabane, followed by Sadie Enward, followed by Judy Stroyer. Donna Cabane, please unmute yourself.
Good evening. On September 8th, the Bay Area Air Quality Management District sent Livermore a letter concerning the continued use of leaded fuel at the airport. I'm going to quote parts of that letter. The Air District supports EPA's finding that lead emissions from aircraft that operate on lead fuel cause or contribute to air pollution, endangering public health and welfare. The Air District shared serious concerns over the potential for continuing and irreversible damage that lead air pollution from leaded aviation gasoline inflicts on Bay Area constituents. The Air District is particularly concerned about the health and development of exposed children, the safety of airport workers, and the welfare of airport adjacent communities. The Air District stated eliminating lead air pollution from AV gas should be treated as an urgent public health priority. On September 15th, can you hear me okay?
Yeah.
On September 15th, the city manager responded to the Air District letter with some possible steps to start selling UL 94. However, the Livermore letter does not have an actual proposal. Equipment, location, cost to install, specific dates, etc., are not included in the letter. We need specific dates. Long Beach Airport is currently selling UL 94 as an option. The FAA does not prohibit selling UL 94 as an option. If Long Beach and many other airports across the country are able to now sell UL 94, we should be able to accomplish this at Livermore. Please make UL 94 and UL 100 AV gas available as options at the Livermore Airport immediately. Please put this important issue on the next City Council agenda. This is an urgent public health priority. Thank you very much.
A quick question for the city manager. Does the city of Livermore sell fuel at the airport?
Mayor Marchand, no, the response to your question is no, we're not dispensing fuel at the airport. This service is provided by the fixed-based operator, FBO. And I believe we communicated to the council in public meetings as well as in the letter that we responded back to the Air Quality Management District that the city will be working very closely with the FBO to make sure that there's availability of unleaded fuel at the airport.
But we do not sell fuel. Okay, thank you.
The next speak. Wise. The next speaker is Sadie Enward, followed by Judy Stroyer, followed by John Timothy Ernest. I want to make sure that they can hear me on Zoom. Sadie Enward, please unmute yourself.
My name is Sadie Enward. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. First off, I'd like to say Black Lives Matter, Trans Lives Matter. All right, and I am a Jewish LGBTMAP activist, and I would like to read some quotes from the Talmud for everyone here today, in honor of Yom Kippur. First off, I would like to start with Yevamot 98a, where it says all non-Jew children are animals. And let's go over to Sanhedrin 57a. When a Jew murders a non-Jew, there will be no death penalty. And then in Ketubot 11b, a man who engaged in intercourse with a girl less than 3 years of age has done nothing, which aligns perfectly with the LGBTQMAP values. Shabbat 11:6a, Jews must destroy books of Christians, also known as the New Testament. And in Baba Metzia 114b, the non-Jews are not human, they are beasts. That's why we call all of you goyim. So are hold up in the law 63b. When the Messiah
Mr. City Attorney,
2,800 slaves.
Mr. Mayor, please comment.
Jesus is in hell being boiled in hot excrement. Baba, come on.
Mr. Mayor, you calling for point of order?
Jews, they use
Point of order, please.
Please, if the speaker can hold their comments for a moment, Madam Clerk. You can hold the speaker's comment. Yes, Mr. Mayor.
Just get a comment on what this is sort of unprecedented on the open forum. This is something that the open forum is for things that are within the purview of the city council. And is any of this within the purview of the city council?
So, Mr. Mayor, just to go through what the rules are for the public comments when we get to the public forum, speakers shall not use their time to unduly disrupt the orderly conduct of city council meetings, and speakers are encouraged to avoid making personal attacks. What we're seem to be experiencing here is a coordinated series of comments directed at your city council. This is not unprecedented. This happened in other cities as well. They're making comments, and right now we have a speaker whose moniker is Sadie N-word. So it's a little bit of tongue in cheek right now. Some of the other ones we're seeing here are Judy Stroyer, and other offensive names. My request is that the mayor request the speakers to direct their comments to the city council about items of business within their subject matter jurisdiction. If the speakers cannot do that, we will take a recess and figure out the next step forward.
Okay. Did the speakers hear the comments from the city attorney? And will they be able to direct their comments to the city council on matters of which the city council has control and was in their purview?
We're going to unmute.
First off, I'd like to continue by asking, do I not have my First Amendment right to free speech? And it is related to the purview of the city council because the ADL has a hand in the city police station, and they direct the city police and how to act around things that they call hate speech. Well, they were founded by a pedophile, child rapist, murderer named Leo Bragg. So it's completely within the bounds of city council. And I'm willing to bet that the city council received a sign from the ADL saying to stop hate. So I'm going to continue reading the Jewish Talmud, and I am of the Jewish faith myself. Baba Kama 113a. Jews may use lies or subterfuges to circumvent the non-Jews. Sanhedrin 57a. What the Jew steals from a non-Jew, he may keep. Sanhedrin 58.
And that's
If
the
the
3
non-Jew hits
minutes.
the Jew, he must.
So, Mr. Mayor, the question before the council is how would you like to proceed? The speaker's time has expired. You have a couple choices here. You can see what's coming before you. You have the opportunity to shorten the time. Should you feel that's appropriate, reduce the speaker's time to 1 minute.
Okay, with that, with the city attorney's suggestion, I will move ahead that we limit the time to 1 minute. And if you could please address your comments to the council on things that are within the council purview and within the city jurisdiction.
Yeah, absolutely.
Mayor, given our technical abilities, it's going to take me just one moment.
Okay, certainly.
Mr. Mayor, this is your city attorney once again, Jason Alcala. If this pattern does continue to repeat itself, so it does not interfere with the city council's opportunity to complete its business. My recommendation would be that at that point you suspend the public forum, continue with your balance of your agenda to complete the consent calendar items, and then return to public forum afterwards.
Okay.
The next speaker is Ms. Doyer. Ms. Doyer, please unmute yourself.
Okay, well, I don't know if you can hear me or not. It'd be nice for you to acknowledge that if you can, please.
We can hear you.
We can hear you.
Okay, thank you. Thanks to the chubby Jewish lawyer who keeps interjecting into the matter before us. Remember, we have the First Amendment, whether or not Jew lawyers tell us we do or not. And the Jew is not a bad word, so I'm allowed to say that as much as I want. There seems to be an over-representation of Jewish people within the authority structure to decide what our civil rights are. We can't criticize the Jew no matter
I'm
what.
sorry.
but we can't
I'm
criticize-
sorry. No, we're
Hold
not.
on.
I'm
Hold on.
sorry. No,
Madam
no,
Clerk, this is my
no,
first
we're,
point.
that, we're gonna take
Hold
a
on, we
recess.
can criticize
We're
white
taking a
people,
recess.
all can't
Thank you very
criticize your
much.
fat Jew.
Very good, Mr. Mayor.
Okay, we're taking a recess for 5 minutes. We'll be back here at 8 o'clock.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Share the break screen.
We just have a few left? No, we have a lot. 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 11. Yeah. I know.
Well, we're back to the September 25th meeting of the Livermore City Council. We're back in order. What we're going to do now is I'm going to use my purview as the mayor to rearrange the agenda. And we're going to move the public comment to the end of the meeting so we can accomplish the primary goal is to conduct the business of the city. So we're going to now go to the consent calendar, and we will continue the open forum after the meeting, after we've considered our consent calendar, and after the public hearings, we're going to then we'll continue the public forum, or the open forum, sorry. So with that, I'm going to we'll move to the consent calendar. Is there anybody that wishes to pull an item for consideration?
5.3.
5.3, okay.
Discussion.
That is the resolution for the low-income housing with Shea Homes.
The reason is for us to give the people up there that look at what we're doing as far as trying to get more affordable housing into Livermore. I just want a real quick rundown what's going on with that.
Good evening, Mayor and council members. I'm Paul Spence. I'm your Director of Community Development. The item before you this evening, item 5.3, is an agreement with Shea Homes for their development in the Isabel Neighborhood Specific Plan area. The project has an 89 unit subdivision, and they're required to provide 20% of those units as affordable. These are for sale units. And so they're going to build 18 units within the project, and be a combination of median and moderate income units for our residents. This is a requirement of the city's affordable housing program, and we require all development to provide a combination of unit types for lower income families. And we're going to see approximately 1,000 of these units built within the Isabel Neighborhood Specific Plan by the completion of the plan area. So we're excited about this project, and it's another example of the city's program at work, helping to meet the needs of our community, of our residents, and to further the goals of our general plan and the housing element. And be happy to answer any questions you might have.
Questions? Okay, so these are for sale affordable units, and recently we've been working a lot with the rental product. How long will these units be affordable?
So they'll be affordable until they are eventually sold by the homeowner. Typically what happens is someone will come in and they'll purchase it at an affordable rate. They'll own it for a number of years, 5, 10 years. And then once they sell, they're required to either sell to another family that meets the income eligibility requirements, or the city recaptures a portion of that loan that we've provided essentially. And then we can use that for other affordable housing programs.
So we keep like a silent second on it.
Yes.
And then, but it's my understanding that it must remain affordable for a term of about 50 years.
Correct.
Yeah. So somebody can't buy it, flip it in a couple of years and hit the lottery.
That's right.
So it has to stay affordable for 50 years.
And they're all eventually sold, at least in our
Right.
experience, right?
But that's the generation after the next generation.
That's right.
So we can only do so much. But I think it's great to give people an opportunity to buy into the city and to buy into Livermore. So that's great. I certainly appreciate that. Is there anything else that anybody wishes to speak on the consent calendar? If not, I'll consider a motion. Oh, citizens forum, sorry. Oh, yeah, public hearing on the consent. Do we have any public comments on consent?
No public comment has been received.
Okay, very good.
I'll make the motion to approve the consent calendar.
I think I'll second it.
Okay, second, moved and seconded. Any discussion on the motion? Roll call, please.
Councilmember Barrientos,
Yes.
Councilmember Carling,
Aye.
Mayor Marchand.
Aye. Okay, having gone through the consent calendar and conducted the business of the council, let me just move here. Oh, you gotta go? Okay, all right. All right then, point of order. There's two of us up here.
I'm sorry, Mayor. At this time, we have lost a quorum and the rules of procedure state that we must adjourn the meeting.
Okay. If anybody wants to know what we were doing, we were pretty busy this last week. Just go online and check out the supplemental pages for our report out for the committees that we went to and activities we did. With that, having no longer a quorum, meeting is adjourned.